my booty, and I did a few things different today from last week. So her program this week is all based around doing circuits. So instead of doing all the moves 10 times and then going back and doing all the moves 10 times and doing 3 total rounds of it, she actually has you do 3 moves with weights, and then you do all 3 one after another, and then you go back, you do it 3 times, so 3 times 3. Then after that, she has you go to the floor and you do band work down on the floor, so it gives your forearms time to break. And then after you finish that, then you go back and you do weighted, and then you do floor work again. I really enjoyed today's routine. It's pushed me to my limits for sure, but I don't feel nauseous, where I remember when we did booty in week 1 of phase 2, I actually felt nauseous at times, where now I feel super strong and everything. I'm up to using 30-pound weights for just about everything, with the exception of, what did I not use it for? The curtsy lunges. I think I tried the first round with 30s, everything with 30s, the first round, but my forearms were absolutely dying and it killed me. So I ended up going down, and the second time we used weights in the first circuit, I used 30s. The second time we went through it, I went down and I used 30s for the squat hinge, and I used 30s for the, when you go back, the back lunge at an angle. But other than that, I went down and I used 20s for everything else. And I felt great with it. I did that for the last 2 circuits of that, or 2 rounds of that first circuit. For the first round of the glute moves, when you're using your band, I used my heavy band for everything. I don't think I did anything different there at all, to be honest with you, except really trying to focus. I will say this, I don't feel like using my heavy was the smartest way to go, because I felt like it didn't quite challenge me as much as I was challenged last week, because last week I used my extra heavy. So this week I didn't go quite as heavy, but where I struggled last week was I would do the first round really good, but as we went on, my muscles were fatiguing, and so then I ended up having bad form on some of the things when I was reviewing my video. So I decided this week, since we are doing the 3 sets and you never really stop and you're just really burning it out, I decided I probably should go down in my band strength. So like I said, I went down this week and just used my heavy. And I'm glad that I did. Like I said, there was a couple of the things where I felt like it just wasn't quite challenging enough. For instance, when we do the ham curls, last week I struggled keeping my leg up high, and it was super hard. Where this week, because I went down to my heavy band, I didn't have a trouble getting up there, but it was almost too easy, shall I say. I hate using the word easy, because it wasn't really easy, but it wasn't near as challenging as it was last week. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Maybe I'll just try to push myself next week back into the extra heavy bands. Because like I said, I kind of felt like, I thought in my head after doing it 3 rounds for that 1 circuit, that by the end I would feel it like exhaustion wise, but I didn't. So anyway, and then when we went into the last circuit with the weights, I went back to my 30s, and I tell you what, that challenged my forearms again. So I think my forearms have really gotten weak since I stopped doing all the pull-ups. You don't realize how much you use your forearms when you're doing your pull-ups and stuff, and when I used to do heavy weights for my bicep training and stuff, but I haven't really done heavy weight training in so long that I think I've lost it all. So I'm going to try to slowly maybe start doing pull-ups again, just so I can start getting my upper body strength back, and then as well as the forearm strength back. So anyway, I did that, and then for the very last round, I think that was the only thing I really have to say about that. There wasn't really anything I would say that was so challenging in that round. I felt good about it. I used, like I said, 30s for everything just about. And then for the last round of the bands, I actually went ahead and did everything that she did. So when she did the glute bridges with the weight, I did too, and I tried to match her on it, and I wasn't able to match her on it. I used 30-pound weight for the first time through, but I wasn't able to get my hips up into a high enough extension, so I decided to lower my weight, and I went back down to a 20 so that I could get the higher hip extension, and I felt like I got a lot better workout from it. I was feeling like I was almost cheating myself by going too heavy. So try to play around with your weights and see what feels best for you. And like she was even saying a couple of times, is she knows she could probably do more, but she can't keep the proper form. So just keep that in mind when you're doing it. Pick a weight that you can challenge yourself, but that you can really get the proper form with. And then I did the camels, which I complained about before because of my ankles. So I wore some different shoes today. So instead of wearing my low running shoes that I normally use on my leg training day, I used my high tops. They have a little bit more cushion on the heels and help support my, not the heels, cushion on the ankle, and it helps support the ankle. So I actually found I didn't have any pain whatsoever when I did the camels, but I will say this, it did not challenge me. I think again it goes back to I am used to doing that type of movement in a way with the Smith machine bar at the gym. So using a 30 or 35-pound dumbbell just isn't enough weight for that move for me. So I think next time we do this, I'm going to go back to the stability ball and use it put my legs up on it and do the hip raises for it, because I feel like I got a better activation within my hamstrings doing it that way than what I did with the camel. But I was glad I tried it with the camel. I'm glad I didn't have the pain like I have had in the past. So overall, I think it was still a win. I did find today challenging because I have, as you can hear them behind me, we have a foster dog named Nova. She's an 11-month-old black lab, and she stayed up in my face, it seemed like, the entire time with her ball and her bone, wanted me to play with her. So I found it to be quite challenging with her there. I was losing focus at times, and I feel like I have to stay focused to push myself, because when you do the circuit the first time, it feels easy peasy. By the time you go the second time, you start to feel it. Overall, guys, I appreciate you following along. I'll probably do a couple more videos this week, and then of course next week, hopefully, because we'll do something different. But anyway, I will talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.